You know, sometimes 3 foot switches is just not enough. I want more foot switches. I want an expression pedal. Well, you came to the right place because I'm going to show you how to do it in the next few minutes, where I'm going to show you how to set up an Ampero switch and an Ampero press with the Ampero II Stomp. Stick around. Setting up an external foot switch or expression pedal with the Ampero II Stomp is so easy to do, and I'm going to show you how to do it in the next couple of minutes. But before we get to it, if this is your first visit to the channel, take a second and click on that subscribe button down there. Give me a thumbs up. Help my video rank in the YouTube algorithm so I can make more content for you. Now on with the show. We're ready to make our first connection, and I'm going to take the Ampero press and plug it into the Ampero II Stomp. Now this will work with any expression pedals, but this is the one we're choosing to go with for this video. So on the side here, we have the audio output and we have the expression pedal output. So we're going to plug our tip ring sleeve cable into the expression pedal output, and then we're going to plug it into the back of the Ampero II Stomp. Now the expression pedal input is the input all the way on the far right on the back of the unit. Plug it in, and now we're ready to go ahead and set it up inside of the Ampero. What I'm going to do now is take you through a very simple connection where we're going to use the Ampero press to be a volume pedal for the Ampero II Stomp. And so we're going to start with global. Now in the global screen, we're going to select controls, and we have a couple of screens down here at the bottom. We're going to toggle over to the next one over. And you can already see that the expression pedal / foot switch function assignment is already set to expression pedal, but sometimes it can be set to single foot switch or dual foot switch, but you just want to make sure that it's set to expression pedal. After that, go back out to the top screen and we'll move on to the next step. Before proceeding forward, just make sure that you've got the expression pedal actually turned on. To do that, just go to the icon here in the main screen of the Ampero and turn it on. Once you do that, you'll see it says expression on, and you're good to go to the next step. Next, we're going to go over to the control / expression dialog, and I'm going to select expression settings, and you have 3 options here: target, expression range, and calibrate. Now, if you haven't done this before, and this is the first time you're using this functionality, you do need to calibrate your pedal. So we'll go to calibrate really quick, where it says lift the pedal fully upwards towards the heel, which I've already done. I know it's off camera, but just use your imagination. Hit next, and then it says fully depress the pedal down. Hit next, and now the calibration is complete. So it's pretty quick and painless. But once that's done, we can now go to the expression settings, and we can set up a target and expression range. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a volume effect module inside of my Ampero patch, and then I'm going to assign the expression pedal to that effect module. To do that, we're going to go ahead and hit edit. We're going to go to the end of the signal chain here, the final slot, and I'm going to scroll all the way down to the bottom and select volume. And once that's done, I can go back out to the top level now, and I'm going to go to control expression. I'm going to go to expression settings, and I'm going to change the target. Now the target is currently set to off, so I'm going to wheel it over to volume. And once that's done, you don't need to worry about really any of these because the parameter's already set. There's only one parameter, it's volume. So we want to go to expression range, and you want to make sure that it's set to minimum of 0, maximum of 100, and you have 3 different curves to choose from. You can go with linear, exponential, or logarithmic. It's up to you on how you feel about it. You might even think about perhaps changing the minimum value to something other than 0, but in this case, I'm going to keep it that way. We're going to go back out to the top, and let's check out what it sounds like. Now I'm going to share a quick power tip with you. The problem with this setup, while it's a very simple one, is that if you place the volume pedal at the end of the signal chain, you're going to get a very unnatural sound because all the delays, all the reverbs, all that stuff is going to get cut off. So a better way to go is to take the volume pedal and take it all the way to the beginning of the signal chain. Once you do that, go back out to the top menu, go to your control expression menu, go to expression settings, and make sure the target is now set to volume. And you can keep everything the way it was before. You just need to reset that, and once you do, you're going to get something that sounds a whole lot better. Don't you agree? The next connection I'm going to make is the Ampero switch to the Ampero II Stomp. So like before, as we did with the Ampero press, just use a tip ring sleeve on the back of the Ampero switch and go to the back of the Ampero II Stomp, plug it into that expression pedal input, and we are now ready to configure it. Now I'm going to show you how to configure the Ampero switch to the Ampero II. I'm going to go back into Global. I'm going to go to Controls, and I'm going to toggle over to the source. And right now it's set to expression pedal as it was before earlier in this tutorial. I'm going to go over to dual foot switch. And now we can assign foot switch 1 and foot switch 2. So currently right now by default, the first foot switch here is assigned to tap tempo and the second foot switch is assigned to bank up. So if I go back out to the top menu and I start using my first foot switch here and start pressing in succession, you can see that the tempo is changing accordingly. And if I use the second foot switch, I am going up by bank. Now, that's probably not the best way you want to use this, because think about it, we're in stomp mode right now. So that means that in stomp mode, I've got my first foot switch assigned to the overdrive, my second foot switch assigned to the first delay, and my third foot switch assigned to the second delay. It'd be a better use of these two foot switches to assign them to something a little more useful. So I'm going to go back in there and I'm going to change this to patch down, and the second foot switch is going to be set to patch up. So now when I go into edit, I've got my controls here all set up, and I've also got the ability to go up and down the different patches. And that just makes the best of both worlds, because now I don't have to toggle between stomp mode and patch mode. I can just keep it on stomp mode. I've got my stomp foot switches, and then I've got my patch foot switches over here. So here's another power tip for you. Let's say we want to go back to using the first foot switch as a tap tempo. What can we do with that second foot switch? Well, what we can do is we can actually set it up so it will turn off multiple effects at the tap of a foot switch. So in essence, you're getting kind of an A-B channel sort of idea. To do this, go back to Global, go back to Controls, go to your dual foot switch setting, and we're going to change the first one to tap tempo. The second one is now going to be set to control. So at this point now, the tap tempo is working just fine, but we need to set that control foot switch. To do that, go back over to Control to the dialog there, go to foot switch settings, go to Control Target. And from here, what you need to do is deselect all the modules that you don't want this foot switch to affect and keep the other modules on that you do want this foot switch to affect. Meaning, you want to go to say A1, there's nothing there. We'll go ahead and turn that off. Dynamic 1, Dynamic 2, we'll turn those both off. Overdrive, amp, the amp, the cabinet, but I'm going to keep the delay, the first and the second delay, and the reverb as well. So now when I go into edit, we have our tap tempo, and now the control foot switch will turn off and on those three effects at any given moment. So it gives you even more functionality. So if we go out to the top menu again, actually if we go back into the edit again, we can now have your first foot switch that handles the first overdrive, the first delay, the second delay, tap tempo, and all of the effects that are delay or reverb. Well, that concludes our video. I hope you found this helpful. Now, if you have any other suggestions about Ampero content that you'd like to see on my channel, use the comment section below and let me know, and I'll consider it. Have a good one. Well, thanks for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any further questions, be sure to visit us at thepedalguide.com. But in the meantime, follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and also be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for weekly videos and tutorials. Thanks for stopping by here at thepedalguide.com, where I love pedals and so do you.